Yo, 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 yo. Your boy is not feeling the greatest, as you guys probably can tell. But welcome to another edition of Cashed It with Chris, the NBA betting show, presented always by the Basketball Forever Podcast Network. Man, we got some games to talk about. We definitely got some games to talk about. Yesterday we saw a lot. We actually did pretty well. Always like to start the show with, being transparent as far as, what we played yesterday and how well or not so well we did, and we actually finished 3-1. As far as official plays that I gave out yesterday on Cashed It with Chris in the morning show, I gave out the Pelicans, and I have been talking about that game for a while. Pelicans -4 before the news came out that Kerr was going to rest all the guys. Was a sweaty cash. That Golden State second unit, I felt like they had a lot to prove. I felt like they felt like they had a lot to prove, and they showed that they could, play up to competition. We saw guys step up like Kuminga, guys like Ty Jerome stepped up, played really, really well for Golden State last night. Um, Jordan Poole assists. If you laddered his assist last night, that was some good money too, because he ended up with like 11, I think 9 assists. So Pelicans play down the competition, man. We've seen it twice before. Well, I've noticed it twice already this season. And I know they were getting Brandon Ingram back, getting Herb Jones back, but man, that was a little too scary for my liking. It took all the way into the end of the fourth quarter, until about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter for them to kind of come up with some defensive stops, and that's what I was expecting throughout the game. So that was the 1-0 on the show plays that I gave yesterday, plus zero point 0.9 units, so almost up a unit. And then yesterday, if you tapped into the evening show, I had a few more plays, which I typically do. And those plays were the Washington Wizards, which I left that money in my pocket because they came out looked like trash, absolute bottom of the barrel trash. This is not a bet on team right now. I just thought that with all the controversy going on in Brooklyn, Ben Simmons not playing, Kyrie, man, the Wizards are actually looking good the game before, but the Wizards are not a bet on team right now. You can't figure this team out. I just thought that, it was a lot of things going in their favor for the, and being at home was one of them. They opened at the game actually opened at Wizards being a 1-point dog. And then, of course, without the news of with Kyrie being suspended, the line, quickly flipped to -2 in favor of Washington and went all the way up to 3. So, yeah, wrong side there. Vegas didn't get that one right. I didn't get that one right. So lost on the Wizards, got the Pelicans right. The Celtics and the Bulls first quarter over 54.5 was a tad bit sweaty too, but that cashed -110 play. And then Giannis rebounds. I talked about his rebounds over 12.5, plus 102 that cashed as well. So if you tailed all 4 plays, you went 3-1 yesterday, plus 284 units. Haven't really been giving you guys updates, but we've been doing a lot better. I've been limiting my plays and doing a lot better overall. So last night we went 3-1 overall, up 2.84 units. The day before that, we took Golden State on Thursday. We took Golden State first half, went 1-0 on that play. The day before that, we actually went 2-3, minus 1.29 units. That was on Wednesday. We went 2-3, but on Tuesday we had a sweep 3-0. So yeah, we actually been doing pretty good for the week. I'll give you guys an updated number here soon. I always forget to do that. But top of the morning to you guys over in the chat as well, man. Like I said, I'm not feeling the greatest this morning. My throat's a little scratchy, but we're gonna power through, man. It's still money to be made, and I'm still capping these games and trying to cash. Jew, what's going on, my brother? Top of the top to you. Same with you, Dylan. Good morning to you, Chris, and gambling community. Let's get some money. LJ, my brother, thought about you last night, LJ, because I watched that Knicks game, and you came into the NBA Crispy Capping show and talked about how Brunson was gonna go crazy, and I saw him hitting the third quarter and said, "Damn, I should have told LJ on that one." So, yeah, that over 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists, LJ was good money last night from Brunson. Appreciate you sharing that with the community yesterday, man. Appreciate all you guys for being here. Hit the like button for me if you're watching over on YouTube. If you're on Twitter and want to leave some comments or see what everybody else is talking about, hit the you can come over as well. I tweet the link out every single morning. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube page, you should probably do that as well. I'm doing two shows a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The podcast is recorded on Spotify, on it's always on YouTube. It's on Apple Podcasts as well. But then throughout the week, I'm doing the evening show as well. YBB, good morning to you, my brother. I see you in the chat. I appreciate you being here, YBB. So what y'all on today? I see Steven Adams rebounds was free. Hornets just giving away rebounds. Yeah, the Hornets didn't come to play last night, man. I want to talk about that game today too. They play Brooklyn. They play the Brooklyn Nets. What up, Captain? DJ Prop said, good morning, bro. Sorry to hear you're questionable with the illness today. Feel better. I'll be all right, bro. I'll be all right, man. I appreciate you, though, DJ. That's funny, bro. OG had 5 steals last night. Somebody came in and talked about OG Anunoby last night. I actually jumped on Toronto in the third quarter. They were down by, I think, 17 or 18. I took them plus 13 and a half. And that was easy cash because they almost came back and beat and won that game last night. And I talked about how difficult that Dallas and Toronto game was going to be to cap. I wasn't looking to take Toronto, especially with Fred VanVleet getting ruled out. But they play hard, man. Nick Nurse bring those guys, and they play hard every single game. I talked about that being the quote unquote, glass of red wine and popcorn game. And you saw if you took Dallas, man, you had to be extremely frustrated with them not covering that spread. I think the game finished at 110 to 111. And Dallas, they probably should have covered, but that Toronto team's not going to give up. They're always going to keep fighting, and you can expect for them to have a bounce back quarter. If they have a slow third quarter, they'll play well. They'll play well in the fourth most of the time, even with Siakam going to the locker room and not returning in that one. So yeah, let me get on to today though. LJ said real quick, he said, looking at Julius Randle double versus Boston, Claxton blocks versus versus Charlotte today. John Collins rebounds versus the Pelicans, and Kevin Porter Jr. PRAs versus the Wolves. I like those looks, LJ. I might have to get with you on that Kevin Porter Jr. PRAs line. Yeah, that was a hell of a game. All right, so let's talk about today, man, because we do got, I think it's 7 games all together today. I appreciate you guys for tapping in with me over on YouTube, man. I love going through the comments and chopping it up with you guys. But let's talk about today. So we got I think we got 7 games all together. Full transparency, I didn't handicap every single one of them to the fullest extent. We also got a lot of injuries again today. So the manipulation of the injury report, like I said yesterday, man, LJ talked about it as well. It's something that makes me kind of want to sit on the sideline, in some of these spots, but also it makes me want to look more towards the player prop market. Yesterday, I talked about Giannis rebounds, and I talked about a lot of player props that actually cashed. LeBron unders cashed again. You can tell he's just not, feeling it, not 100%. Devin Vassell looked really good. He cashed at halftime. I talked about taking his prop as well. So I'm probably going to look more towards the props, man, because they've been cashing. So especially with the manipulation of the injury report, the NBA is doing this foolishness already, man. So let's get into today though, man. Let's get into today. That's what we're here for. So first up, we got the Kings going to traveling to Orlando to play against the Magic. This will be a short trip for them, as far as the Kings have already been on the East Coast. They just played against the Miami Heat the other day, and they actually should have took that game to overtime. Tyler Hero traveled and they didn't call it, so they end up losing that game by 3. But then you get you get the Kings. They actually look good, man. They come into this game, they're 5-2 ATS, although they're only 2-5 straight up. So they've been covering these spreads, and I think eventually they're going to be a buy-on team. The other thing about the Kings, they're actually 3-0 ATS on the road. 3-0, like every single game that they've played on the road, they've gotten too many points and been able to cover, even though they haven't won all of them. This will be their 3rd game of a 4-game road trip. They actually they'll fly back across the time zones and be in the Bay on Monday to play against the Golden State Warriors before they come back home. So that's what we got there. On the opposite side, man, this Magic team is impressive. I know we've all saw it. They just didn't quit. A lot of fight. These young guys are playing really, really hard for the head coach over there in Orlando. We saw them upset the Golden State Warriors. They were getting 8 points, and I think it ended up going up to, I think it opened at 7.5, went all the way up to 9, and won that game outright, man. Sent Golden State packing. Golden State typically does not play well in that gym anyway. I don't think they've had a win since 2018. So take with that information and do what you want. But as far as this game goes today, Orlando, I think so a big question mark is De'Aaron Fox, right? So he is actually listed as questionable, which makes this game really difficult to cap. This is a 5 Eastern start time game, so we probably won't know the information anytime soon. But I mean, it's like literally like impossible to cap this game because De'Aaron Fox. I talked about taking his points the other day when he actually got injured with that knee injury. And one of the things that I looked at for taking his points was his usage rate. De'Aaron Fox had the 14th highest usage rate before he got injured. He was I think it was 31%, 33%. So, I mean, somebody who has such a high usage rate, it makes it, almost impossible to cap a game like that. What I will say is that we know that this Orlando team is long, they're lengthy, they don't give up a lot of points in the paint. So I'll probably be looking at some of these guards. I know, let's see. Kevin Huerter actually had a really good game against Miami. We also saw Malik Monk come off the bench. I think he finished with 19 in that spot. So if those guys don't play, I think you could look at some props. The total in this one actually opened at 224.5. And then, of course, the spread opened at the Kings actually favored by 1.5. I think it's a difficult cap. Sacramento they have pretty much owned Orlando recently. Three wins out of the last 4 games. They actually won the last game in Orlando. Yeah, they beat them last year in Orlando by 4. Sacramento was getting 6.5 in that game. The over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The over is 6-0 in the last 6 games. So that might be something that we look at. We know that this Kings team isn't looking to play too much defense. Orlando can actually play defense at spurts in a game. For sure too. So we'll come back to that one. Anybody got comments? Y'all got anything on that game? Let me know what y'all thinking. Plumlee over 7.5 rebounds for the Hornets. Raptors are buy on. What you think, Chris? Yeah, I talked about it yesterday, Cap, and that's why I didn't play that Mavs game against Toronto, because both teams are buy on teams. I really love this Mavs team. I'm not looking to fade Luka, especially at the crib, and I'm definitely not looking to fade Toronto. Toronto has been sharp. They play defense. They play hard. I just love the brand of basketball that Toronto plays, bro. Like I'm not looking to fade them, especially early. And it feels like when they're down a soldier, because we know that Fred VanVleet got ruled out late towards the start time, they just pick it up. Like it's the next guy up mentality. They play the brand of basketball that I enjoy watching. They move the ball. They play hard. They have long, lengthy defenders. So yeah, I love guys like Siakam, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent Jr. I even love the bench guys like Boucher and those guys. So yeah, nah. Zachariah said, Chris, I need a shirt. Hey, bro, crispycapping.com, 2 P's, 2 N's. You can go in there and get you a shirt, bro. I appreciate the love, Zachariah. But yeah, the link is actually posted. All of these videos, every video I do, I leave a link in the comment description. With a lot of links to all the stuff that I got. So if you guys want to support the channel, definitely cop a shirt. Go on the website. I'll send it to you guys ASAP. Appreciate that, Zachariah. Silly Boy Stud said he on the Magic money line. And he said Magic a lock. Whoa, I don't like that L word, Silly Boy, but best of luck to you if you take it, man. I can see the Magic winning this game. I definitely could. Markel said, well, Kings money line. All right, let me keep going, bro. Man, I don't feel the greatest. Y'all got me rolling in the comment section. Oh man. All right, let's move on. Let's go to let's go. Bro. Let's go on to the next game, man. We got the Nets and the Hornets. I want to talk about this game. So the Nets and the Hornets, right? So this one opened at 5.5 in favor of I'm sorry, I actually got that written wrong. I need to change that because that is not correct. That should say plus 5.5. Nets are laying 5.5 points in Charlotte. So I think this game's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be interesting for a couple reasons, and we still need to figure some things out as far as like who's gonna be in, who's gonna be out, because I did see reports that Terry Rozier could actually make a return today. He could be available to play. Joe Harris is also expected to play. I don't think he played yesterday. Seth is expected to play. Gordon Hayward is actually listed as questionable. And then LaMelo is still out. Of course, Ben Simmons is still out. And of course, Kyrie is, this will be his second game of his 5-game suspension. So you get this Nets team. They're coming off a 40-point win, which I got that game extremely wrong yesterday. Laying 3 with the Wizards. Never do that again. But the Nets, they end up going to DC and winning by 40 last night. The starters didn't play, extremely late into the game because it was over so early. And they get a really short travel. Like, if you guys aren't on the East Coast, a flight from DC to Charlotte probably takes like 25 minutes. Like, it's literally right up the street. So, that extremely short flight. And they had an early start time yesterday too for the game in DC. So I don't expect a fatigue spot at all from Brooklyn on the second night of a back-to-back in this one. And they get a Charlotte team that's looked really bad. Charlotte has been on the road for the last 2 games. They got smacked up the other day in Chicago, and Chicago was on the second night of a back-to-back. And then they go to Memphis and just lay an egg last night. Memphis smacked them up early in that game too. Now, of course, they're shorthanded. They didn't have, their guys, Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward still out. Cody Martin wasn't playing as well. So they just look bad, man. But Charlotte, this is a tough spot for Charlotte. It's really difficult to feel like you watch one game with Brooklyn and then you want to lay 6 points with them when they were 1-6 against the spread yesterday coming into that game. So now they're only 2-7 against the spread, but they looked impressive last night for sure. Charlotte, on the other hand, this will be their 3rd game in 4 nights, their first game back at the crib after getting smacked up, like I said, in Memphis and Chicago. So I mean, it's difficult to figure out what you want to do with this one. I do think that if you guys were on the NBA Crispy Captain show yesterday, I talked about KD assist prop. Didn't take it, but I talked about how much I liked it because it was 6.5. He was crushing that number all last year when Kyrie wasn't playing because of the COVID restrictions in Brooklyn. And KD finished, I think, 1 assist away from a triple-double last night. Charlotte, we know how good their offense is. We know how fast they want to play. Their offense might not be as good without all the guys in, but I think we can go back because KD isn't selfish in the sense of he just wants to go out there and score 50. I think his assist prop has to be in play. Charlotte's not playing any defense. They play at one of the fastest pace in the league, and KD didn't play that many minutes last night. And the Brooklyn Nets need to stack wins. So I do expect them to win this game. I do think that we will probably want to wait on the news with Terry Rozier. Brooklyn could come back down to earth just a tad bit. But I talked about this as well yesterday. Like sometimes players, when it's a lot of turmoil going on, I remember this with Kobe. Like they use the basketball court as like a sanctuary to get away from all the crazy stuff that's going on. All the drama that's kind of looming. Their record is terrible. Ben Simmons is being criticized in the media for not shooting the ball and having more fouls than points. Everything that's going on with Kyrie and all of that stuff, the political stuff, all of those things, if you're on that team, you just want to get on the court and play ball because you know that minimizes it. It brings some happiness to you, right? So I do look for Brooklyn to come out here and probably smack these boys up. But like I said, I'll probably wait on the news, and just kind of see what's going on. On the opposite side, I think looking at a guy like Richards for the Charlotte Hornets. I've been talking about him throughout the season. His rebound props, man. This dude is like one of the best rebounders off the bench, I think, in the league. So that's another look I'll be looking towards. And I'm already at the 20-minute mark. Let me see. What y'all on? Let's see. Zachariah said KD came back home and put on for PG County. That's a fact. DMV stand up. I talked about KD being back at the crib, bro. Being back at the crib. KD from about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes from where the Washington Wizards actually play at in DC. So yeah, that's a fact. 40-point winners against the 30-point loser on the line is -5.5. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. It is. And I think, and the line's actually gone down. It's actually gone from, it opened at 5.5. Money's come in on Charlotte in this spot. The line's at 5 now, in a lot of spots. So yeah, take with that information and do what you want, man. The lines aren't always the sharpest. Sometimes, things can go the opposite way for sure. Good morning, Tiffany. What you doing with your Knicks today, Tiffany? Let me know. LJ said, "Good luck. Good luck, Katie. Assist prop. I'm on it. Yeah. We got to look at it, LJ. I need to go through and look at his assist opportunities. But like I said, I just love, like, it checks so many boxes for me to play KD assist. Like I said, for one, he's not selfish. For two, he knows that getting his other guys involved is going to be the way that they play. Charlotte isn't playing any defense, and Charlotte plays at one of the fastest pace. So, so yeah, I'll be looking at KD assist prop again. What's up, Brian? What's going on, my brother? Good morning to you. Top of the top. Let's get one more game in real quick before we hit the 25-minute mark, man. And I appreciate you guys for being here. It's 53 people watching live right now on YouTube. Hit the like button for me. Send this to one of your friends that like the sports gamble too. Tell him Chris know what he's talking about, and he gonna help win us some money this basketball season. Moving on, next game. Let's go to this Pelicans and Hawks game, man. I haven't fully, capped this one completely, and I do think that this one has another variable that's really difficult to make it cappable, I guess, or at least feel like you're confident on your side. So Atlanta in this one actually opened at 2-point favorites, and now, or 2.5. I saw 2-point favorites and 2.5-point favorites. Right now, the line currently stands at I want to say it stands at 2. It stands at 2. Total open at 233. It's down to 231.5. So some money has come in on the under already. And what I got for you guys in this one. So we saw the Knicks bounce back. The Knicks bounced all the way back. I'm sorry, we saw Atlanta bounce back against the Knicks 2 nights ago. So this will be Atlanta's first game back at the crib, in quite some time, because they went on a nice little Eastern Conference road trip. They didn't travel out west, but they did play 5 straight road games against Detroit twice, Milwaukee, Toronto, and then, of course, the last game versus the Knicks. They had that players only beaten, and that should have been enough for me to know not to take the Knicks in that spot. But they won that game. They had lost the 2 previous games before, giving up 139 points to Toronto and 123 to Milwaukee before shutting the Knicks down in the second half and only giving up 99 points in that game. Now you get a Pelicans team that's coming in here on the second night of a back-to-back. They had to play their starters pretty heavy minutes last night because they struggled to close out Golden State. And they also they end up traveling. For the Pelicans, this will be a first game of a 3-game road trip. They play the Pacers on Monday, and then they get the Bulls on Wednesday. So highly anticipated game. New Orleans did cover both spreads last year. They went in and beat New Orleans. New Orleans went in and beat Atlanta 117 to 112 last year on March 20th and covered a 5-point spread in that game. They were getting 5, so they covered by 10. Also in New Orleans, Atlanta actually won 102 to 99, but New Orleans was getting 5, so they covered that spread as well. All 3 of the last 3 games have went under as well. So this game is difficult to cap, though, because if you guys were watching the last game, then you saw Trae Young get poked in his eye, and it didn't look good at all. He's officially listed as questionable in this game, but Bogdanovich is still out as well. On the opposite side, the Pelicans should be at full strength. Those guys played, like I said, they played pretty heavy minutes, but we know what this team can do. If the spread's at 2.5, then what the books are telling you is that, it could be a coin flip type game. And they're, giving some strength to the home team. We know that Atlanta typically plays well, a lot better at home, but coming off such a long road trip, man, that makes it a tad bit more difficult as well. Also, the Pelicans, like I said, they didn't play up to their competition yesterday, which could in turn bite them in the butt, especially when you got guys like Herb Jones and Brandon Ingram just coming back off the injury. So take with that information and do what you want as well. I wanted to look at the Pelicans last night. Let's see. I wanted to see like the starter minutes. So let's see. Brandon Ingram played 36 minutes. CJ McCollum played 35 minutes. Zion played 27 minutes. Herb Jones played 29 minutes. So not a third and four or anything like that. And I do feel like the Pelicans probably are the slightly better team. I think that they probably get up for a game like this. Atlanta, to me, they beat a Knicks team that's not better than this Pelicans team. So if I had to play this game, I'd be looking towards the Pelicans, even with the travel. New Orleans to Atlanta is not a long flight at all. And I'm not extremely concerned about them being on the second night of a back-to-back. But I do think Atlanta probably gets hot at home sooner or later. But I wouldn't be looking to back them in this spot against the Pelicans. Y'all got thoughts about that? That's probably the last game I'm gonna hit. What y'all on? What y'all said? Knicks first half. Okay, we got Knicks first half. It's hard being a Knicks fan. Hey, bro, it's hard being a Laker fan. Markel said Knicks are damn fade. Hawks first quarter over at home. I need to see it, silly boy. I probably won't play it first game back at the crib, but once I see that their offense has some continuity and some rhythm, I'll probably be looking at the Hawks first quarter for sure. Trae Young and DeJounte typically play most of the first quarter. Markel said put the rent on the Celtics to win tonight. Oh, Lord. Hopefully the rent only one unit. Hopefully the rent only one unit, Markel. When you get a chance, check your DM, Chris. Got you. Trae Young going for 30 and a double-double for takeoff. I can see it as long as he can see. Like, Trae got to be able to see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to have some kind of memorial, some kind of remembrance for takeoff. Rest in peace to takeoff, man. That's still crazy to me. What up, man? Appreciate you being here. Ski said Hawks are pass. Ski, we got to talk about this one, brother. I need to know why you on Hawks are pass, because I know you typically like to fade teams back at the crib off 5-game road trips. And I know the Hawks been looking good. I need to do some more digging before I play that one. I feel like it's a Pelican spot, but I need to do some more digging. I didn't get a chance to watch the post-game interview with DeJounte and Coach McMillan. I want to see what they were talking about. I want to see if they're serious about keeping that same energy that they played with in the second half against the Knicks. So yeah, that's what I'm on. Frank said Trey I was damn near shut last game. I'd rather find something better. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? Like I know he want to, get up for his guy for takeoff for all amigos, but you can't bet on a play that can't see. Trey joint was bad. It looked really bad. It looked worse than Garland joint on opening night against Toronto. So yeah, man. Officially, I have nothing in right now. We'll do a show later. I'll maybe do a show later, tap back in, maybe have some officials. But, it's just so much going on in the injury report right now that it makes it difficult. The Celtics and the Knicks game is one that we didn't get a chance to go to, but I'll be looking at, and I didn't see the lines, but we cashed on the Celtics and the Bulls first quarter over yesterday, over 54.5. I think that'd be something I'll be looking to go back to. Boston on the second night of a back-to-back. Probably less defense being played. Boston is still the third highest scoring team in the first quarter. And that we also know that, the Knicks like to get out and run as well. I expect them to be able to score against the Celtics. So I'll probably be looking at first quarter, first half over whatever they set to line at. I didn't even see a line, but I kind of wrote that down in my notes. And then we got the Rockets and the Timberwolves, the Thunder and the Bucks. Unmotivated spot for the Bucks after getting the win against the Timberwolves last night. And the Spurs and the Nuggets, really probably unmotivational spot for the Nuggets, although they did look really good against that in that game 2 nights ago against OKC. So Michael Kevin, what's the boy name? The Murray kid looked really good in that game. Looked like Bubble Murray. So that, and then Bones is also listed as questionable. So and the Blazers get a rematch against the Suns. The Suns probably going to be looking to smack them up. So Cam Johnson did leave on crutches in that game, though, and he probably won't be available, I'm pretty sure, to play in this game. So they got Aiden back, but lost Cam Johnson. So, it's definitely a lot of games that, to get through. And I'll continue to do my research, but I kind of wanted to bring you guys what I was looking at so far in this one. But and that's it, man. Like I said, nothing official for me yet, but we'll probably do a show a little bit later after I can get some of this, get past some of this preliminary stuff. Like I said, also not feeling the greatest too. But appreciate you guys for tapping in with me as always, man. Hit the like button for me over on Twitter, and like I said, we'll tap back in. I have some officials that I'll tweet out even if I don't do a show. I'm gonna dive into this card, but I wanted to bring you guys what I had early. Best of luck on all your action today, man. And we'll chop it up soon. I'm out.